Let's be honest, Alaska is one of those bucket list trips that people plan for and they save for years, sometimes even decades. And the last thing you want is to finally get there and realize you made a few simple mistakes that totally change the experience. And here's the thing, 2026 is actually shaping up to be a very busy Alaska cruise season with higher prices, more crowds, and even a few new travel curveballs that weren't an issue before, even last year. So in this video, I'm sharing the biggest Alaska cruise mistakes to avoid right now so you do not waste any money, you don't miss out on key experiences, or walk away thinking, I wish I had known that. And a quick question before you dive in. Are you planning your first Alaska cruise, or are you going back for a second, third, or umpteenth time? Let me know down in the comments. I love seeing where everybody is at in their Alaska travel journey. And make sure you stick around because I'm going to share some must-pack items and a few of my favorite Amazon finds that we use on every single Alaska cruise. I'm gonna have everything linked below and pinned to the very top comment for you, or you can scan the barcode that I have on the screen right now for our Alaska Cruise Essentials packing list. If you're new here, by the way, I'm Sherry with CruiseTipsTV.com, and we help you plan smarter, smoother vacations at sea. And if that sounds like your vibe, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out. Okay, we got to start with something new for 2026 that could seriously impact your trip. In fact, this is such a big deal that we made a whole video about it. Underestimating pre-cruise hotel demand and pricing, especially in Seattle this year, is key. There are some major global events going on, like, you guys, the World Cup related travel situation. This is taking tourism to new levels, and hotel prices in Seattle during the cruise season are expected to be higher than usual, like double and triple higher. And the availability is really tight. So I'm telling you this now, hopefully it's not too late for you, but waiting too long to book your hotel could leave you paying a lot of money or staying really far from the port. So book early, look for refundable rates, and really pay attention to location so you're not adding unnecessary stress on embarkation day. Now, if you're watching this in the future, like 2027 and beyond, the World Cup situation has probably calmed down and we're okay. But for 2026, this is essential. Book your pre-cruise hotel now. And that ties directly into another mistake, arriving too late on embarkation day. With heavier crowds, those longer airport lines because of the World Cup, and more traffic, cutting it close is riskier than ever, you guys. If you can, you gotta fly in the day before, maybe even 2 days earlier. Now, I'm curious, are you a fly in the day before person, or do you risk it and fly in the same day? Let me know below, but if there was ever a year not to risk it, it would be this year. Now let's talk about choosing the wrong cruise line for Alaska, because this still matters a lot. In fact, in 2026, the differences between cruise lines are even more noticeable. Some lines really focus on Alaska itself, the glaciers, the wildlife, the enrichment, while others kind of lean more into the ship experience. And with newer ships and cruise lines entering Alaska, hello MSC, hello Virgin, it is tempting to book based on the ship. But Alaska is all about what is outside the ship. So make sure you're choosing a cruise that aligns with how you actually want to experience the destination. And a good travel advisor is where you're going to make this happen. I'm going to connect you with my travel advisor partner down in the comments and description. She's amazing, but if you know a good travel advisor, one that's referred by a friend, just book it with anyone that comes highly referred to you. It will save you so much. Another big one, you guys, choosing the wrong time to cruise. May and September are more popular this year than ever. Even though they're the shoulder season, even though they're not supposed to be popular, they're more popular than ever because of pricing and fewer crowds this year, but they come with some trade-offs. May can be drier with gorgeous snowy scenery kind of lingering on the mountaintops, while September can bring those beautiful fall colors. Gosh, it really does happen, you guys. Fall colors are beautiful in September. You might even get a chance at those northern lights, but also more rain as possible in September. And honestly, sometimes really early May can be very rainy and cold too. Now, peak summer, still gives you the best wildlife and longest days. And honestly, that June, July, August peak summer period probably gives you the most predictable weather too, because it's really summer in Alaska, right? It's not fall, it's not spring, it's summer. So probably a little bit more reliable. So which would you pick? Would you pick better prices or better weather? What is more important to you? This one always sparks a little debate, so let me know. All right, now here's one thing you can stop stressing about: obsessing over which side of the ship to book. Ships rotate, you guys, during glacier viewing days, and you will naturally move around the ship anyway. Instead, think about whether a balcony cabin is worth it for you in Alaska. If you could afford it, book a balcony or above. Another regret that we still see is choosing the wrong itinerary. Not all cruises to Alaska include Glacier Bay, and that's a big deal for many people. Also, pay attention to how long you're actually in your ports of call. Short or awkward, weird port times can really limit what you can do. So speaking of those glacier days, on your glacier viewing day, do not stay inside. Even if it's cold, even if it's drizzly, pack the appropriate attire, bundle up, get outside. This is where packing right makes all the difference, and we'll get to that in a minute. Another common mistake: thinking you have to book excursions through the cruise line. You don't. Independent tour operators can offer smaller groups and sometimes better pricing. Just make sure that you research them and find out if they're reputable. My favorite one is linked below. I've done tons of tours in Alaska with them, and you got to check them out. They are so much cheaper, and generally the groups are so much smaller. So are you team cruise line excursion, or do you book independently? I love hearing how people approach this. I have a funny little thing that I usually do though. When I'm doing flight seeing or helicopter, I actually like to book directly through the cruise line. I don't know why, but I know for a fact that that cruise line has probably vetted them for safety. So that's one exception that I make. Now let's talk money, because Alaska can be pricey. Excursions like helicopter rides, dog sledding, and flight seeing can cost hundreds, you guys, per person. So one mistake people make is just not budgeting early, not saving enough money. And another one is just underestimating how fast those bucket list excursions can sell out. So you want to save money and book early. This leads us to a really big one: waiting too long to book those excursions. The best ones can go fast. And if it's something that you really want to do, I highly recommend that you book it early. Get familiar with the cancellation policy, but book it early. Another mistake: overlooking port logistics. Tender ports, long distances, and limited time can all impact your plans. Always check your actual hours in port when you are making your plans for what to do. Now let's really dig into packing, because this is where small mistakes can have a big impact on your comfort. You've heard pack layers for Alaska, right? But what does that actually mean? The key with layers is versatility. So you want to start with like a moisture wicking base layer, something warm like a fleece or hoodie on top of that. And then on top of that, a waterproof outer layer. Now that outer layer is critical. Not water resistant, but waterproof is really super important in Alaska, and probably something with a hood would be best. One of our most used Amazon items for Alaska is a lightweight rain jacket, a waterproof rain jacket that you can layer over everything and anything, and I'll link to my favorites for men and women below. Footwear is another big one for Alaska. You guys, you don't necessarily need like heavy hiking boots, but you do need water-resistant or waterproof shoes of some sort. Wet feet can ruin your day fast. There's puddles and there's water everywhere. I love waterproof sneakers or hiking shoes instead of boots, and it is critical though that you break them in before your trip, because hiking shoes, hiking boots, they tend to be more stiff and they can rub blisters into your feet and be very uncomfortable. So wear them in for a few weeks or a few months if you can beforehand. This is really important. And do not skip moisture wicking socks. This sounds minor, but it makes a huge difference in keeping your feet warm and dry. Cotton socks are not the best, wool ones are, and I have found some of the best ones that you can buy. You'll see them in that Alaska packing list. Another must pack are binoculars. Alaska's all about wildlife, and your phone's zoom is just not going to be enough. So a compact, lightweight pair from Amazon is perfect and easy to carry around the ship or on those excursions, but you're probably going to use them the most out on your balcony. Also consider a small day bag or backpack. You're going to want something lightweight to carry. You're going to want those layers shed off and put into a backpack. You're going to need your bottled water, your binoculars, maybe a scarf, gloves, or hat, depending on the weather. But we always bring a little packable day bag that's water resistant. And it's handy, it folds down, super easy to store back in your cabin or your suitcase when you're done. And speaking of accessories, don't forget some gloves if you run really cold. I don't always pack gloves, but I do always pack a beanie and some sunglasses. Sunglasses are critical. The glare off the water and those glaciers is real. And a warm, cozy scarf in a nice neutral color that you can wear even in the evenings if you want to match it with your formal outfits. Now here's where people get it wrong in the other direction. They assume Alaska is always cold and wintry, but Alaska can surprise you. Warm, sunny days absolutely happen. You guys, it's summertime. I know it's Alaska, but it's summertime. So pack at least one lighter outfit, maybe even a pair of shorts or a sundress. And yeah, pack swimwear. Hot tubs with glacier views, hot tubs with views of the fjords. You guys, seriously, getting out into the warm hot tubs is one of the best experiences on the ship. Another packing mistake is bringing the wrong evening wear. Alaska evenings can be cool, so if you're dressing up, think layers, but also think like long sleeves, and take a wrapper, a shawl, or a light jacket or sweater with you. Of course, I'll have all of our go-to Alaska packing items linked for you in the description and pinned to the comments like I mentioned, but if you want to keep it simple, you can just shop the one list. Now, skipping travel insurance is another big, huge mistake, especially with Alaska's unpredictable weather and the high excursion costs. So work with your travel advisor to get a good travel insurance plan. And finally, don't forget seasickness prep. And don't assume that wildlife is guaranteed. Alaska delivers incredible moments, but patience is part of the experience with that wildlife part of things. And back to the motion sickness part, you may not need it. You probably won't need it. You probably can have a nice smooth cruise, but if you do hit a storm or something, it is really nice to have a nice non-drowsy motion sickness medication. Now, when you are on your cruise, you're going to want to make sure that you do not skip regional cuisine, both on the ship and in your ports of call. Fresh salmon, crab, local specialties like berries, even things like fish tacos with locally caught fish. These are part of what makes Alaska so special. So lean into that while you're on board and while you're in port. All right, that is it, you guys, for the updated 2026 Alaska Cruise Mistakes List. If this helped you, give it a thumbs up. It really helps more people to find our videos when you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Now, I have one last question before you go. What is the one excursion or experience on your Alaska bucket list? Is it whale watching, dog sledding, a glacier landing on a helicopter? Drop it below. I can't wait to read it. And until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.